What is going on, YouTube? It's Jay Coffee back at it, man. And we got to talk all about these mysterious drones and this mystery, man. Real talk. This is pretty crazy. I don't know what to make of it. As always, I need you guys' help figuring out what's going on, man. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit the buttons for me. But more importantly, join the discussion and coffee talk it up with me. What in the world is going on? But before we jump into that, and we have a lot to get through, stick with me just one moment. I just wanted to speak about this other news story that broke in the news, man. I shouldn't say I'm not really into reality TV. I can't front. It ain't my favorite, but from time to time, there's been a few reality TV shows that I've indulged in, I guess we could say, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. It's reality TV. Enough said, right? But this Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, never watched it. If you watch it, if you're a fan of it, jump in the comments and let me know. It seems to have a pretty big fan base. I don't know how many damn Real Housewives shows there is now, man. Salt Lake City got one. Like, someone fill me in if you're aware of how many there are, and if you watch them all, like, where did these housewives get their fame from that warranted them to be on a reality show? I'm just curious. Were they married to someone famous? Did they have their own big businesses or something? Are they models? Like, I don't know. But what I saw here, which was like pretty wild to me, is this story about this woman, Bronwyn Newport, I believe is how you say her name, was walking 6 dogs and was attacked by a dog, bit 37 times. And I guess the show went and used this as a storyline on the show. You know, it's pretty brutal-ish, but I just wanted to talk about this and see if anyone out there, you've ever been in a situation like this, because I have a couple times, man. I don't know what kind of dog it is that bit her. You see someone, I think, joking, trolling, saying it was this little puppy-looking dog here that, I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong, those little dogs will try and bite you, but their bite ain't as vicious as their bite, right? You know? Or no, their bite isn't as vicious as their bark, right? They'll raise a lot of ruckus. Some of them will have paws, right? But they're not really doing damage like that, I don't think. I don't know. But pit bulls, of course, I've had pits. They catch a bad rap. They're can be very loyal dogs, but you don't want, like, if a pit locks on you, that's a problem. Or a Rottweiler, man. They'll take chunks of flesh right out of you. But so often what I wanted to talk about with this, right, there's people that do dumb-ish when they walk dogs, right? And I want to know if you guys think this was stupid on her part. You know, because there's sometimes, like, I got a family member who, they had a dog, which was a nice dog, right? But it was kind of a bigger dog, and dude was at work, his girl was out walking the dog, and some other dog ran up on their dog, and the woman couldn't physically restrain the dog, and just a full-out brawl happened, and there ended up being this ugly lawsuit and everything. People were trying to get their dog put down. It's so crazy. But in this situation was so wild. What I think fucked this all up is, it says she had 6 dogs, and a dog came up to her, and she went to go pat the dog, which then circled around and attacked her from behind. And I guess she says from that point on, she went and did everything all wrong, which probably made it worse, flailing her arms around like a wacky, waving, inflatable arm flailing tube man. And just, you know, it's like, what can you really do once things start jumping off? You got to try to keep your composure and get up out of Dodge as soon as possible. But I think it was stupid on her part to have 6 dogs. And then when one dog runs up on you, right, and she says it didn't have any aggression, you got 6 dogs on you. So when you reach out to pat it, you know, I'm not saying that's asking for problems, like it's always going to go left, but it might not be the smartest thing to do, right? Because that dog's going to take, like, all your dogs possibly as a threat. I think she messed up. I still feel bad that she got bit 37 times. But I don't know. I just saw this news story, and I wanted to know what everyone made of it and what you guys think about people walking dogs, if it's irresponsible of them sometimes to have dogs out, if you know, a dog is capable of doing whatever. But at the end of the day, the other person messed up by their dog even getting off the leash and approaching her. So at the end of the day, who really is at fault here? I don't know. You know what I mean? I want to know what you guys think about it all. Jump in the comments. Let's talk about it. You know, going to dog parks, some dogs that can be a bit vicious and things like that. I'm just curious to know everyone's thoughts. But let's get into this drone mystery.
I want to bring in 3 eyewitnesses to these unexplained phenomena. And they're not just any witnesses, but 3 names that we all know very well, people that I know well and trust and are my friends. News Nation correspondent Rich McHugh happened to be with New Jersey police last night, out doing the job when he spotted the drones. We've got Dr. Catherine Ramsland, forensic psychologist. This woman doesn't lie. She writes the books, by the way. She saw the drones 2 nights in a row. She's known here for taking us inside the mind of serial killers. She saw half a dozen drones in Pennsylvania. I also want to welcome Scott Rouse, our go-to behavioral and body language expert. I know Scott well. He tells the truth. He saw the drones over Tennessee. I mean, look at these 3 have all seen them. What is going on? I want to start with Rich McHugh, though, because Rich, you were out on the story last night, didn't know what to expect, and take it from there. I mean, what happened?
Off the top, I've been skeptical of this story. As a resident of New Jersey, as a journalist here, I thought it was going to be some sort of yahoos, and we would get a laugh out of this in several weeks. What happened yesterday completely changed my entire view on this story. Earlier in the afternoon, I was out with the Ocean City Sheriff's Department. They have a drone unit. They've investigated these things. What they've saw a bunch over the weekend. We did not see any with them last night. I was coming back home. I got a tip. Monmouth County. They're spotting them in Monmouth County. That's where I live. So I raced up here and I tried to figure out where the picture was that somebody sent me. And sure enough, I saw one. So I trailed it to a neighborhood, a dead-end street, and I got out of my car and I took my phone out with, my iPhone, and I couldn't really capture it, but I was staring literally at this drone 200 feet above me, maybe. I called our photographer, Nick, and I said, get up here as soon as you possibly can. Meet me at this location, etc. I tracked a few more to the location where we are right now, over a body of water behind us. And I gotta say, Brian, over the next 2 hours, we saw dozens and dozens of these things, and they look like nothing you've ever seen before. I'm not even sure I'm right in calling them a drone. They looked like they were fixed wing aircraft. They had multiple, blinking lights. They did not look anything like a plane, because there's plenty of planes flying overhead. Like tonight, they're not here. We're seeing just planes. Last night was totally different. They look creepy, and they move at a different pace. We tried to even follow a couple. They went off in the distance and disappeared. It's completely rewired my brain on this topic, and I am a believer, and we need answers, and we don't have answers, and we need someone to step up and say, here is what's going on, because otherwise, we're heading down this path in New Jersey and these states where people are just going to take this into their own hands.
Yeah, and I'm looking at your video right now. We have it in the middle of the screen. I know it's tough at night when you're using your iPhone and it's pitch black. You said you were near the water, but so it's kind of hard to see. But we've heard these reports from people, but hearing it from you, Rich, as our investigative reporter, knowing the kind of work you do, it is kind of freaky to hear you say that that you couldn't identify it. Describe it a little more. I mean, how big? And, when I think of a drone, you think of it's got it's almost like a little helicopter with the 4 rotors. Do these look different than that?
They look different. They almost look like a U-shaped or a V-shaped. They didn't make a sound. It was, a couple hundred feet above us. You just didn't know what you were looking at. It was moving across the sky very quietly. And we kept saying to each other, Nick and I, what are we looking at? Are you getting the shot, and what the heck are we filming? There's a couple shots you can see where you can see that it's fixed wing, and it doesn't look like a plane. It almost looks like inverted. It sounds crazy as I say this now, Brian, that's what you're seeing on the screen. That's what we were seeing right above our heads. And it happened till about 11:30 at night. And then it started to die off. And I was like, we could stay out here all night. But I went to bed. This is my community. I've never seen these things in the sky over my community before. I went to bed thinking This is wild. These things are flying over our homes, over our residences. And there's a military, Earl, which is a munitions depot just like about a mile and a half behind me. They've reported sightings of these things above, and they said they're ready to take action if they need to. This is for naysayers out there, like, this is real.
So how many did you see at once, Rich? Was it just the one, or?
Well, no, I think we would see a couple at a time in various parts of the sky over this water. And we'd be like, oh, we didn't get this shot on that one. And they'd be like, well, wait, we'll just wait. You know, I'm sure there'll be another one. And sure enough, like, one started creeping towards us. And it's like, it felt like I was in a bad sci-fi movie, like that I was placed in, but it involved my actual hometown. It was very, very surreal.
I mean, to hear you saying this, again, it just sort of hits me in a different way coming from you. Wow. I want to go to Dr. Ramsland now. Dr. Ramsland lives in Pennsylvania. If you ever told me that I would be asking Dr. Ramsland about drones flying near her home, and we usually talk to her about killers, I wasn't expecting this, but they said, Dr. Ramsland's seeing the drones. What did you see?
A similar experience tonight, actually. It started last night. We were hearing about them in New Jersey, and suddenly we're in eastern Pennsylvania. It's as if they migrated over. I called a couple of friends, and we were texting each other as we were all of us seeing them in different areas. And the one tonight, I saw one going west. It was red blinking lights like this one. Another one was coming toward it from the west going east, and then the westward one suddenly turned around and went into formation with the one going east, turned green, the lights turned green, and then yellow, and it looked very much like what we're seeing here in these pictures.
Have you ever seen anything like it, Dr. Ramsland, or are you sure it wasn't a plane?
It couldn't possibly be a plane. It was flying low. It's within half a mile of me. There's no plane path at that point, and it didn't act like a plane. A plane can't turn that fast, and it also had oddly spiral kinds of movements that you just don't see with a plane.
And so it was last
night.
No
noise. Again, no noise. Yeah.
No
exactly.
noise. So last night and again tonight?
Yes.
Same look of drone? I mean, did it look the same?
I could see them more clearly tonight, and I think it's because it is a very clear night. I saw them really distinctly, and there were more of them tonight, according to my two friends again got out, and we all could see more tonight.
Wow. Okay, so Dr. Ramsland is in Pennsylvania, Rich is in New Jersey. Scott, you are in Tennessee, so you're in a different area where we haven't heard as much about this. Tell us about your...
So this is pretty damn crazy. This is just a day ago, not even a full 24 hours ago. There's been reports of these mysterious drones since mid-November, heavily in the New Jersey area. And everyone out there, let me know if where you're at, you've seen the drones, you've heard people speaking of the drones. You see the other person was in PA, and this wasn't the full clip. You know what I mean? There's a whole nother person they talked to who is in Tennessee, and he's talking about there's drones there as well, but those drones look a bit different, more round. You know what I mean? And they're like, there's no mistaking that any of these drones in which we're speaking of are planes, right? They're flying super low. They're doing things planes can't do, spiraling, shifting all around. I seen reports I shared in a short coming from Europe where they were talking about all these mysterious drones over there as well, and they seem to be around military bases a lot, flying right over them. And that's the thing about all this is, what is the deal? Is there some secret operation going on here? Why are they around all these military bases? Why are the military bases not taking action? You know, they're worried that people are going to start taking action on their own, like some War of the Worlds type stuff. And then to make this even crazier is something else that they got into this video, a part that I didn't share with you, where they were talking about, you know, how the press wants answers, everyone's pushing for answers, but they're not getting any. And in this one situation, like, places are going out and, you know, like getting with media or other people, right, prominent people in certain areas are getting with local police and saying, hey, what's going on? Something needs to be done about this. And there's instances where the local police are saying, listen, we've had people, police officers, sheriffs, just different law enforcement entities calling in to the feds and stuff because they're seeing them themselves, making their own reports. This is documented stuff. This isn't theoretical things. Like, this is really going on. And it's rather spooky, if you will. And in one situation, I'm not sure if this was New Jersey as well, which is like, if you pay attention to the different imagery and maps and stuff like this, like, it's not, you know, again, just Jersey, but Jersey seems to be the main place that they're most active at and around. And again, it's so wild in Tennessee, reports of different ones that are like spiral-like, and these things are on whisper mode, make no noise or anything like that. But in this one instance, I think it was Jersey, some local police law enforcement entity called the Coast Guard and said, listen, we just got reports. That was from one of their own, a police officer or sheriff or something, saying, hey, he just seen like 50 of them over a body of water. I think it was the ocean or something like that. They called in the Coast Guard, said, yo, go out there and check into this. The Coast Guard went out there and said, oh my goodness, there's so many of them. It's freaking us the fuck out. That then when they were finished investigating and started hovering back in to shore, they were being followed by like a dozen of these things. You know, it's pretty crazy. And it's just got everyone bugging out, like, what is going on? Why are no answers being given? And you see this report as well about Trump.
Being New Jersey State Senator, he's been asking and demanding answers. He keeps raising it, but no one really gives him any answers. Senator, good to have you back.
Good to be with you, Neil.
Let me get the latest on what's going on in your state, because it started in your state. By far, the disproportionate number of drones have been flying in and around your state. What is the governor saying? What have you heard from the president?
We've heard very little. Let's start with the fact. First, it was questions. Then it was maybe it's comedy. And then all of a sudden, it became serious, and now it's insanity. Yesterday, the new United States Senator had to go out with local police to look for drones. Now, if United States Senator Andy Kim can't get any information, I'm pretty concerned about that. So I asked for a state of emergency to ground all the drones and asked the FAA to join our state of emergency, which I've asked Governor Murphy to enact, in order to ground any drone. I've gotten silence, and we met with the state police. The state police have no information. Can you imagine? The Department of Defense must have some serious secret if we can't get any information of car-sized drones flying over our military bases.
So then you have to start asking yourself, all right, so either they're withholding information, or worse yet, this could be more worrisome, Senator, they don't know.
Well, that's really the point. So a car-sized drone comes in over the ocean, and we don't hear from the military, from the Department of Defense, what that is. Now, we would believe as citizens that anything of that size would be noticed, and we would be advised what that is. So there must be a pretty big secret, because there has been top secret briefings. And every time someone comes out of the top secret briefing, we get the same answer. Well, we need more information, but apparently it's not a threat. Now, I don't know how they're determining that. The Defense Department must be speaking to someone, because they're surely not speaking to any of the residents in New Jersey.
All right, so Trump not officially in office yet. He still hasn't taken into office. I'm not sure exactly what he said, too, that you heard that one report saying that, like, they fear that people are going to take it into their own hands based on what Trump has said. I'm not sure exactly what he said. Here you see Fox News dissing the fuck out of Trump, saying, oh, you know, people are asking Trump about this, and he sees this as an opportunity to clown Christie, a guy that formerly endorsed him, and then, you know, was saying Trump should never be back in office. He is nothing more than a mere puppet of Putin. And you see he put this meme up of the dude eating McDonald's, Christie, you know, with drones in the air. Like, they're saying, look at what Trump did. But I mean, the guy isn't in office yet. I feel like if he was in office, maybe Trump would do something. But like no one can seem to understand why these things aren't being grounded, why there isn't a state of an emergency, why they're going into these secret meetings, which obviously secret stuff is not going to be put out there into the media. You know what I mean? Whether you're what people would consider to be a conspiracy theorist or not, like, let's keep it real. I think all can agree, right? How deep down the rabbit hole you go, that there's things that the public is not told. There's things that are put out there that are not true, that we're lied to about. I mean, you can see from declassified things, MK Ultra and other stuff like that. Like, it's no secret that we're lied to about secrets. You know what I mean? There's false things put out there. And with this all going on, it's like, what do you guys make of it? You know what I'm saying? Like, is this just some secret military thing? You know what I mean? That we're not being told about the air, like, you know what I mean? Airspace, like some kind of operation that they got going on to see what happens if these things disrupt the airspace. And that's what I'm wondering about too, aside from if they're a direct threat or not. Could they accidentally get in the way of flights and air traffic controllers and stuff like that, or what? You know what I mean? And that's the odd thing too, like that they're not being shot down or something like that in military space, airspace above basis. Like, why would they ever let that happen? It leads me to believe that they know something about this. Some people may think it's some type of extraterrestrials or UAP or UFOs, and they're not like they're already aware of them, that they've struck a deal with the aliens. Or, you know, there's a lot of people that believe that, whether you believe or not, aliens exist or not. And again, I urge everyone to please hit the comments in regards to everything we touch on this video. If you're new, please subscribe, hit the buttons. You know what I mean? This Coffee Talk platform, once again, is the Coffee Talk it up with y'all, the good people of the blogosphere out there, and figure these things out. You know what I mean? Or whatever the case may be, you know? Like, there's a lot of things that happen news-wise. And if we don't talk about it at some time, some things can be just regurgitated to the point that they're factual or whatever. We try to pick at things and decipher what it is a little bit, or just have some good conversation, you know, just for the sake of conversation, for interacting with other individuals out there in the blogosphere. But, you know, what do you believe? Do you believe aliens are real or not? And whether you do or not, do you believe that there is indeed a plan? This is something that dates back to William Cooper, Behold a Pale Horse, and many other individuals saying, you know, at some point in time, there is going to be an agenda put into play where they're going to fool everyone that there is some kind of alien invasion going on and the people of Earth are in trouble. And, you know, we have to do what the powers that be tell us to do. And that's going to be the way that this like NWO type plan gets put into effect, how they'll get people to listen, you know. And there's even, you know, reports that, and this is dating back to like the 80s and maybe even before that, right, that there'll be special effects used. And I'm sure a lot of people, did you guys see that video of that weird face in the moon and stuff like that? A lot of people thought that that was, you know, the beginning stages of this. But I gotta say, the fact that they're not being shot down when going around military stuff leads me to believe the military knows exactly what this is, or no, because they were calling it in, but maybe the higher ups know, and government agencies and CIA or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, there obviously is more known about this than we know, but what exactly is the case? Are we in danger? Is this just an operation? What exactly is the deal? Something like I was saying when I was seeing like a week ago this being discussed over there in Europe. Once again, I put a short up about this. Some people theorize that this could be part of something to push everything into World War III with all the other ish going on in the Middle East and different places and stuff like that. But over there in Europe, they were saying, how does this make any sense that nothing's being done about this, especially from a United States standpoint? When you guys remember, what was it, the beginning of 2023, or when was that, where there was that weather balloon looking thing that there was like 2 of them or whatever, and they shot that down, and we heard that that came from China? Like, why was that taking action so quick? But in this instance, no one's doing nothing, and the people are really being told nothing other than, yo, it ain't no threat. You know, it's just not really adding up, you know, when you do the math. So with all that being said, I'm going to close this video out. Once again, guys, hit the button, subscribe. I look forward to talking to you all in the comments, and stay tuned for updates. It's Jay Coffee Talk, talking music, news, sports, current events, life, and much, much more. And I'm up out of here, guys. Peace.